I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast. And we go through powerful video libraries. And so the thing that's interesting is, are these videos, are these podcasts changing your life forever? And I would say in most situations, it doesn't. It's a funny video, it's an interesting video, it's an insightful video, but does it really change your behavior? Does it really change our behavior on a daily basis? Like, do you think of happiness? Do you think of, you know, the crazy, dancing man? Do you think of what was I created to do? How can I change my life, my family, my community, the world? People want to be the founder, but are they willing to take the risk, do the work, and make the sacrifice? And then how much do we allow drama to be negative drama, and we don't get over trauma and it turns into drama? And then procrastination, and are we a spectator in our own life? And are we really humble? I mean, no, we're not talking humble. Like, are we really humble? If you have to use words to show people you're humble, you're not humble. If we have to use words to show people that we're kind, we're not kind. Like, if we have to use words to show people we're honest, I always love when people say, I'm being honest with you. The first thing I want to say is, so if you don't tell me you're honest, does that mean you're not honest? Like, when you're telling me you're honest, are you saying that you're not honest a lot of times? Like, I don't understand. And then, are you the luckiest man or woman in the world? Do you have something you've been put on? And then your life vision, do you have that? Are you even trying? Or are you just kind of, hmm, man, I had an interesting conversation this last week, probably might come up. And then, the law of stupidity, the theory of stupidity, and are we stupid? Are we surrounded by stupid people? So today's session is going to be the nail in the head. Man, this is a funny video. Wow. All right, so let's start out with Cheryl. Did you watch this video?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I honestly, I was all by myself and I was just laughing out loud. It reminded me of sometimes the most obvious is like right in front of you, and you don't even see it, and you don't even see it when somebody points it out to you.
Right? I mean, is it classic when it's like, I mean, I'm so frustrated. Like, all my sweaters are getting snagged. Like,
Right.
I
It's
just,
like, why do you think that is?
right? Like, my sweaters are getting snagged. Like, they're uh Elaine, what do you think of it?
Well, the very first time I watched it, this was like like the second time I've watched it, but the very first time I watched it, I was more in the initial of, wow, you really don't want to hear it. But the second time I watched it, it made me question how much I'm like that. And I only want to see or hear what I want, and not be open to see or hear a different perspective. And then from the guy's point of view, how often do I try to fix someone else instead of myself and don't listen to what they are saying?
Yeah.
Did you freeze?
I did. I'm like, there's a little voice inside my head. Don't take the bait. Do not, do not, do not take the bait. Ken, are you proud of me? I'm proud that you didn't take the bait, Ken. So all the guys on the call, that watched the video, I just want to tell you, I'm proud you all didn't take the bait. That was,
I'm proud of you too.
thank
Yes.
you, Ken. Yeah, I'm proud of you too. Like, it's like, don't. So nice. Rosanna, how about you?
Um, well, coming from an amiablest perspective, some of it told me that, of course, a guy probably made this movie. And
Of course.
so he's going to go
But
ahead
that's
and
that's
yes, of
weird.
course.
I take offense for women. Like I take offense for women. I can't believe you did degrade women like that, Rosanna. That's offensive to me. Like, why do you degrade women like that, Rosanna?
Well, because I am one, and I can
But
I
it's not
sense
nice to
that
degrade them, honey. Like, you can't do that.
well, you know what? We can do our own. That's fine. See, I've been told that our own people
What do you
can
mean?
say
I'm
things
sorry. Now
about
I'm
our
really
own
confused.
people.
So 1 minute you're saying you can't, it seems like what you're saying, you can't, women, obviously a man did this, obviously, because a woman could
Yeah.
never see, her own nail in her own head. And then the next minute you're saying women can. So now you're creating confusion.
Well, that's why women are occasionally. But I appreciated both Cheryl and Elaine's perspective because, I've never really thought about it as, when the guy is trying to help the woman, she's trying to fix him. I probably am the
So
worst
help me
at
out.
that
Help me out.
myself.
Are there other women on here that can comment? I wanted to get your feedback before we got the men, and the whole thing goes down a rabbit hole. So are there other women that have comments on this one? Okay. So women, help me to see, what is it that the guy needed to be half fixed in the video?
Well, she said, if you just did this.
Right. I remember that. I've got this video burned in my brain.
If you just talk to me like this, and
right.
she, at the end he says he submits.
Right.
And in the process.
And so his problem wasn't he didn't give in sooner.
That's what she's saying. I'm not saying that.
No, I know.
I'm just saying that's
you and Elaine went ahead and she teased and taunted. Like, she threw out there, like, he's focused on fixing her. Well, what does he need to be fixed?
She was focused on fixing him. Elaine, what was your comment? Because I'm almost positive she said she was focused on fixing him.
She also
so busy
said,
trying to fix.
Well, no, what I think she said, again, I'm not saying I have photographic auditory memory. I'm just saying, I think what Elaine said is, I wonder how many times I'm like him where I'm trying to fix other people.
Correct.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Auditory, photographic.
I saw her trying to fix him to respond to her a certain way.
Rosanna's thinking this is the podcast for marriages. Like, she's going to get all sassy with her husband. And it's like, I don't know if you want to get sassy in this one here, but let's go for it.
No,
so again,
I
the
don't.
photographic auditory memory. So
You're right.
trying to figure out what was wrong with him.
She didn't want him to worry about the nail. She wanted him to just listen to her. She knew the nail was there, or from my perspective, watching it, she did. But she didn't want him to worry about the nail because he was thinking if the nail is taken out, then all of her problems will disappear. And she was thinking that has nothing to do with the problem.
Right. No, I get all that.
Okay, should I stay quiet or should I speak?
No, stay quiet. Stay quiet. Little foreplay. We're just bringing this around. So, Elaine, what was his problem?
He could only focus on the nail.
Versus the sweaters?
No, just versus hearing her talk.
So when he just listened to her talking, how did that work out for him?
Well, I guess not really. It didn't work out.
Okay. How did it work out for her?
Well, her pressure or whatever she was talking about didn't go away. She was just talking.
Right. So she still had still had the pain in her head. She still had the splitting headache. She still had the nails, the sweaters getting snagged. So she still had all the same problems. So didn't work out good for him at all. But it did work out good for her.
How so?
Because she got attention. She got to be a victim. She got to go ahead and express her feeling. So she got all this drama. She got all this trauma. She got all this attention. So it worked out great for her. I mean, yes, she still had a headache. Yes, she still had snagged, but she got to feel something. She got to feel like she was, oh, I'm alive. I get attention. I can have drama. I can have pain. I can complain about something. I can whine about something. I feel so alive. It worked out great for her.
Okay, in that perspective.
Right? And a husband just scratches his head and he's like, I don't understand. Because he's not.
So I'm curious about the women who just heard what was being said. What do you think about what he just said?
Well,
I agree.
Like,
I've been in that spot, so I would agree.
Ben, that's past tense.
Okay, I am in that spot occasionally. Yes,
Occasionally.
maybe more so than most.
Occasionally. Ben, the past. I used to be that way. Occasionally, I'm like that.
Right. Okay. I can say I live like that.
So this is
Wow,
what guys,
Rosanna, all I want to do is say, if you really believe what you just said, that seems to me like a revolutionary, life-changing, potentially life-changing, like realization. Unless it just like a water on a duck's back, it just hits it and then it rolls right off.
It's a combination because sometimes that's the only way I feel alive.
I wonder if there's other ways to feel alive without that. Like,
Oh, I'm sure there are.
I wonder if men, I don't know, I'm not saying men don't do this, but if men don't do this and they feel alive, maybe a woman could learn from a man how to feel alive without doing that.
and I just want to validate Ken because, the only men that I find that act like that are going to be men who are analytic, amiable, and expressive. If you're a man who's analytic and amiable, expressive, you love drama.
Please visit the marriage podcast from yesterday, because I think the driver was mentioned as being the only one that didn't do those things either.
Oh, Rosanna has asked me to go ahead and point out to her when she's requested this, when it seems like she's jealous of me. So, Rosanna, I would point that out now. It seems like you're jealous.
That I'm not a driver?
Uh-huh.
Yes. I wish I were a driver. I think I could get a lot more done if I were a driver.
Well, you don't care about getting things done.
If I were a driver, I might.
Or you would. So I remember the year of drama when I was an expressive personality. And I remember Rosanna said, wow, that's a lot of drama. I'm like, I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything. There's no, like, I'm just standing here. She's like, when you're just standing there, there's drama. And then I said, I wish I could teach you and the girls and our sons to be dramatic like me. And so, so Elaine and Cheryl, thoughts that either of you have?
No.
Nah.
So it's weird to me. I mean, it's just strange when I see this. I'm like, I have never seen this. People just they want that they don't want they get attention from the sweaters that are, you know, snagged and the pain in their head. They love the drama, and it's not just women. I mean, I'm noticing more and more men, especially the white male over 50. It's like, you have got to be kidding. Like, oh my goodness. But it's like,
So I want to say I appreciate you validating me, and I want to say what something similar to what Rosanna said to
does
you.
anybody know why Ken and Rosanna are starting to why they come together?
They're jealous of you.
Right. Right. What happens, here's the science. This is what's really cool. So the weak always come together with other weak. You look at it in the wild, like, you know, you look at it in the wild, you look at it with women who are abused, you look at it in the Black community or the Asian, or yeah, anytime you have weakness always comes together, and it's okay. It's just they're recognizing it. So what they do is they think that when they come together, that it's going to make them strong. In most situations, it does. There are a few, and I don't know if this is good or not. There are a few situations where when weak comes together, they're actually exposed even more. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, so what I was gonna say is, with you validating me,
Yes.
I think what I caught from you is that because I am in one of those three personalities, then I have that happening in me too, where I am. Now I just lost the train of thought, but I think you can finish the thought because I think you're on. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah,
No.
like we see it in
So
other
it,
people, but we don't see it in ourselves. And so if you
oh,
think,
no, this is it. I'm sorry. This is it's if you see in me that I am being a victim and I have a nail in my head and I just want the attention and all that. If you see that in my life, I want you to point that out to me.
does anybody know why this will never work? Like Ken has a request, like Rosanna had a request. It's the same thing. Like, I don't think I'm jealous of you. I'm like, okay. You know, Ken, he wants me to point it out, but it won't work. It's
Why
Did it
won't
work
it?
for Rosanna?
no, not really.
Why won't
And
it
it's
work?
just from experience?
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
it's water on a duck's back?
Oh, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
So Cheryl,
Uh,
why won't it? I don't know if it's personality. I don't know. It's because, well, I have some understanding. Like, why is a prophet never honored in their own country?
I don't know.
Has anybody thought about that much?
Is it not so they stay humble?
Did Jesus need to stay humble?
Well, Jesus didn't, but
So
others would.
he wasn't honored in his own country.
I think I have thought about it
Okay. Yep.
quite a bit. And
Yep.
one of the things I think is because the people in their own country or people that are close to that person, they see the humanity, they see the stuff, and even, I mean, Jesus is perfect, as is a great one, because we know that Jesus never sinned.
Right.
And so even though he didn't sin, you know, he was this little kid. They knew him as a little kid.
Right.
And so even though he was perfect, they still had this perspective of him that he was, you know, a little kid, whatever. They might probably had specific situations where where they could think of where they didn't like what he did. Maybe he did something like he did to Mary and Joseph. Did you not know I was going about my father's business? I mean, it seems kind of snarky, doesn't it? I mean, it
Right?
seems, and so he probably did that to some adults in the town, maybe the elder of the town, and they got around. Did you hear what Jesus did to the elder?
So can anyone synthesize, simplify what Ken is saying? So what Ken is saying is that if we're married, our wife, our spouse, and our children and our brothers, our sisters, our parents, our family, they have perceptions that we're mistaken, that we've done something wrong. Even if we haven't done something wrong, they still have the perception we've done something wrong. And so the people closest to us are not going to go ahead and listen to us. And so in a way, it's shocking to me that Ken would go ahead and ask me that, and that he would think that he would actually listen to me. Like, I'm like, it's just not going to happen. It just won't. I mean, it's funny because Ken's not the only one. Anybody that knows Rosanna and I, they will ask Rosanna her opinion. And if she disagrees with me, they latch onto it and they get all excited and they start trembling and saying, see, Mark, see, you're wrong. Okay. Well, you and my wife agree on something, so that must mean that you're both right because there's two of you. But if she goes ahead and positions herself where Mark's right and she's wrong and other people, they'll dismiss her immediately. So they won't listen. And the same thing will be done to Elaine and Cheryl, anybody else in my life. Ken will ask continued questions about validation. Like, is what Mark is saying true? And if he's not looking to be wrong or be challenged, he's looking for validation. And if they don't validate his own perspective, he'll dismiss them. It's just human nature. And maybe more so with our spouse than anybody else on the planet. Maybe, 3 years into our marriage, Rosanna comes dancing out. Like, literally, she's dancing. Like, and she's so excited. And she's like, Mark, I just found something out. And I'm like, cool, what'd you find out? And she's like, I've got this issue in my life. I read this book and I saw that I had this issue. And I looked at her and I kind of like this and I kind of go, huh. And she looked at me and she said, I know, you've been telling me that for 3 years, and I remember being traumatized, hurt. My feelings were devastated as a young husband. I was 23. I've never been the same since. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, here's a total stranger, a man that she's never met. And he's influencing my wife, and she listens more to a stranger than she does me. And I'm like devastated. I'm like, I really need medication.
I feel that. Yep. Feel that one.
Thank you, Ben, for validating me. And
You're
I'm like, what can I do? Like, what can I do to be this man that she will listen to? And I struggled with that for another 17 years. A lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of trauma, and no medication.
Why did you struggle with it for that long?
Because I couldn't figure it out.
Oh,
Like, I tried everything and it's like she She listens to total strangers.
So what happened at 17 years?
Well, it was 3 years and then 17 years. So at 20, I'm like, maybe she'll listen to me if I become an author. Like maybe if I'm an author like this guy, maybe if I write a book, maybe she'll listen to me.
Why do you think
Did it work?
she would listen to you in a book if she doesn't listen to you otherwise? Because you'd still be the same person.
Well, when you become an author, Elaine, people look at you differently. People go ahead and think you're smart. Like if you start sharing with people around you, you know, that you're co-authoring a book, Clean Windows, learning to see things we can't see, people around you will start to think, wow, she's really smart. No, it didn't work, Ken.
So that's why you said what you said about me?
What do you mean?
Just that it wouldn't work?
No, I've got 55 years of experience with that. That I've only had. So what did you do? The question you all have is, what did you do, Mark? I mean,
What did you do, Mark?
thanks for asking. Like, what would most husbands do?
Give up?
Yeah. So I wrote a second book. Did that work? It did not. So what did I do?
A third?
You wrote the
Fourth,
third.
fifth,
Third.
sixth? How
Yep.
many books have you written?
Elaine and I are writing the 18th book right now. So 17 books. And I don't know if my wife has read any of them, but she's never come dancing up to me and say, oh my goodness, Mark, this is amazing. So 18th book is Clean Windows, learning to see things we can't see. And I'm not saying the flame is dimming.
Why didn't you change your stance? Why didn't you do something different than keep writing books? That
Oh,
kind
I'm doing a
kinda
lot.
sounds-
Now I'm doing podcasts and I'm doing tons of, no, I'm not like a one-track mind, Ben. I've got multiple strategies in place. And
Well,
so
if she listened to other guys, why didn't you just manipulate another guy into telling what she needs to learn through him?
You don't think he's doing that?
I knew I was here for some reason.
with this, we're going to go into the next podcast, which is passion. I'm telling you, if you think this one's good, this is just mostly entertaining. I think you all seriously, this is serious. I think you all ought to call Alan Stein today and say, Alan, because he always, when he joined these podcasts, his number one, bar none, was entertainment. He wanted to be entertained. And so call him today and say, you are missing so much entertainment. It's insane. And then the next one in passion is like, well, what are we going to actually do with the entertainment? Like, does it have any purpose? Is it just, does it have any purpose? Like, is it just entertainment for entertainment's sake? Is that what it is? And so definitely dive into the next one, because I'm telling you, that one will bring this bad boy home for sure. So definitely connect with your art mentor, your two art buddies. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, well, then you haven't joined the Life GPS, and so you'll want to join the Life GPS for sure. That's somewhere in here. And so join the Life GPS channel, and you'll be introduced to a mentor from this group, a buddy from this group, and they'll help you get a lot more out of the group. Always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.